Ralph Shorty, a senator no more. A deadly terror attack rocks London, and an old issue creeps back into Oklahoma legislator. This is OU Nightly. Career of Senator Ralph Shorty is over. In a letter to the Senate and Governor Mary Fallon, the former Oklahoma senator this afternoon resigned his position. Shorty was booked last week into a Cleveland County jail on multiple charges, including a child prostitution complaint. More police reportedly found him in an interstate motel room with a 17-year-old male officers. Officers say they found a laptop computer and other evidence supporting the serious charges against Shorty. In a statement, Shorty said he appreciates the service, the men and women of the Oklahoma Senate, and recognizes the need for the Senate to proceed without distraction for the remainder of the legislative session. Shorty is currently out on a $100,000 bond and is expected to make his initial court appearance on Friday. And a terrorist attack rattled an area near the British Parliament in London just hours ago. The attack sent tourists and lawmakers fleeing for safety. Joseph Quinton is in the news center with details on the deadly attack. Joseph?
Well, Reagan, so far reports show 3 people dead with 20 more injured. The attacker rammed the car into a large crowd of people and stabbed a police officer in this violent act. Police have reported that the attacker is now dead, and following the incident, Parliament was placed on lockdown in the House of Commerce as officers rushed to the scene. Donald Trump's former campaign manager, Paul Manafort, is currently under investigation for possible collusion with Russian officials. And Oklahoma U.S. Senator James Lankford is on the team investigating Manafort's relations with Russia. Lankford says at this time there is not enough evidence to fully assess the situation.
The FBI has a task and we have a task. Part of that is oversight and making sure they're asking the right questions and they're pushing in the areas, and we feel that it's thorough in the investigation that they're doing, but we also have an investigation that we've got to do this broader than just FBI as well.
And the powerful U.S. senator says he has seen intelligence reports that indicate some level of surveillance of foreign nationals during the presidential transition, and that some of the surveillance could have inadvertently picked up communications by the presidents or members of his transition team. House Intelligence Chair David Nunes is spearheading the investigation into possible Russian interference in last year's election, and he says Americans might not be comfortable with some of the evidence he's seen. And lastly, the Johns Hopkins Hospital has accepted its first African-American female neurosurgery resident.
I love a story like that. Thanks, Joe. More shaking in Oklahoma. The U.S. Geological Survey reported 3 earthquakes shook the state today. It started with a 4.0 earthquake that was later downgraded to a 3.7. The large quake happened about 60 miles northeast of Oklahoma City, while the smaller quakes, a magnitude 2.7 and 2.5, shook Fairview and Moreland. No injuries or damages were reported. Busy day in Oklahoma. Crazy weather.
It's a little overcast, but the backpack sweat is still real.
It is real. It got hot this week.
Yes, it did.
Sawyer, can you tell us a little bit more about what to expect?
Yeah, so it is currently outside right now. We're in the upper 60s, and you're talking about that backpack sweat. Unfortunately, it's not going to go away the next several days. The temperatures are going to begin to rise way above normal into the 80s and even some lower 80s across the state. More on that in just a little bit, though. So we'll be above normal. We'll have those gusty winds, and we do have 2 rain systems that are looking like they're going to impact us Friday night and then into Saturday and Sunday. So I'll have more on that in a little bit. Until then, back to you.
Thanks, Sawyer. After a month of dangerous wildfires, Oklahoma responders finally got a win. Forestry officials say that the fire that destroyed at least 9 homes in eastern Oklahoma is 99% contained. The fire in Pittsburgh and Haskell counties forced more than 100 residents to flee Monday morning. Those residents are now back home.
The Veterans Center in Tallahena, Oklahoma could soon be moving. The bill passed by the Oklahoma Senate Tuesday comes after 2 high-profile deaths at the Oklahoma Veterans Center. Vietnam War veteran Owen Reese Peterson died of sepsis in the facility on October 3rd, and in late January, Leonard Smith choked to death at the center. Senator Frank Simpson, the bill's author, criticizes the state for warehousing veterans in old facilities. Simpson says the new facility could cost anywhere from $55 to $65 million. 2/3 of the cost would come from the Department of Veterans Affairs.
And in addition to Bill 544, the Senate approved 2 more veteran-related bills Tuesday, addressing various needs of Oklahoma's military men and women. Senate Bill 543 authorizes the Oklahoma Department of Veterans Affairs to establish a state veteran cemetery system consisting of 1 or more cemeteries to serve veterans and their eligible spouses and dependents. Senate Bill 232 will consolidate the 5-member state accrediting agency with the state's Department of Veterans Affairs. The trio of veteran bills now go to the House for further consideration.
The Oklahoma House bill passed would make Good Friday a paid state holiday. 22 Republicans and 2 Democrats opposed the bill. Republican Representative Jason Murphy cited Oklahoma's economic problems as his reason for opposing the measure. House Bill 1444 passed 69-24 and will continue on to the Senate.
Well, it's back again. State representatives voted last night to allow the public display of monuments connected to historically significant documents. Primarily, this means the 10 Commandments. House Bill 2177 runs directly afoul of a 2015 Oklahoma Supreme Court ruling forbidding the monument on public property. Last fall, Oklahoma voters reinforced the court's ruling by soundly defeating a state question to bring the commandments back.
The Oklahoma House has passed legislation banning abortion to genetic abnormalities. The bill forbids physicians from aborting pregnancies because of a diagnosis of Down syndrome or similar problems. The bill now advances to the Oklahoma Senate.
And fewer Oklahoma babies are dying. From 2012 to 2014, the state's infant mortality rate dropped 8%. The rate was 7 infant deaths per 1,000 births. Compared to 2005 and 2007, that's 1 fewer death per 1,000 births. But still, Oklahoma's infant mortality rate is the nation's 4th highest. And still ahead on OU Nightly, class of 2017 is continuing the OU giving tradition.
Plus, the Al Roker is making his way to Norman early next week. Don't miss it.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Pam Ortega with your weekly dose of health news. Good news for Oklahomans. A bill aimed at protecting Oklahomans from hefty medical charges passed the House. House Bill 2216 by Representative Sean Roberts requires providers to warn patients of added fees. The bill now moves on to the Senate. And listen to this. Babies could soon be made from 3 parents. Yes, 3. And this new fertility treatment will make it possible for an embryo to be created from 2 women and a man. It's called mitochondrial donation. It involves replacing faulty mitochondria inherited from the mother with the mitochondria of a healthy woman. The treatment was approved by UK regulators and will be tested at Newcastle University. Learning in a world of silence can be a challenge. OU Nightly's Ashley Brown has a story of a young girl and how she deals with her hearing disorder.
Josie's your typical 3-year-old. She loves music, dancing, and coloring, but she wasn't always able to enjoy these things because she couldn't see very well and she couldn't hear at all.
The complications, she had surgery for her small intestine because she had a small obstruction to it.
Josie weighed 1 pound, 8 ounces, and she stayed in the hospital for 143 days. But she wasn't the only baby born at 25 weeks. She had a twin brother that died just 18 days later.
Difficult to be able to, mourn him, but also have to be strong for her because she was on the brink of leaving us too. Suggested us to go to Hearts for Hearing. Finally diagnosed her with auditory neuropathy.
Hearing aids were the first step to a normal life for Josie, but they weren't working.
My husband and I just finally decided it was probably time to go for another option, and it was the cochlear implants. Went in for surgery and got bilateral, which is both of them. Whole week straight after her surgery, she wasn't able to hear anything. She went from hearing a few to silence until they activated her cochlear implants.
Hearing everything around her was scary at first, but now she can fully experience things, like Thunder basketball games.
She really enjoyed the drumline. She danced with them
She even got to meet Rumble. One cochlear implant can cost anywhere from $40,000 to $100,000, a small piece that makes a big difference. Ashley Brown, OU Nightly.
Wow, what a great story.
I know,
love those
it's
kinds.
adorable.
Me
I just
too.
love her like dancing around in her little thunder gear.
Oh, absolutely. It warms your heart. We need something like that.
I wonder if she loves Russ as much as we love Russ.
I hope so.
I'm guessing so. I'm guessing so.
More than likely.
Well, thank you, Pam.
Yeah.
And every year, each graduating class donates a gift to the university. The 2017 OU's Alumni Association is raising money to build a new campus park. The association and the class gift committee created a 1,000-strong page to help pay for the park. So far, they have raised over $10,000 in 15 days. It will be located at the corner of Chautauqua and Timberdale. The park will include sitting areas, trees, a plaque, and will cost about $20,000.
OU receives a special guest next week and hopefully sets a world record. Al Roker, weatherman and NBC Today show host, will lead a live broadcast from the Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium next Monday, where students will attempt to make the world's largest human weather symbols. If you'd like to help set a world record, be at the stadium at OU by 4:45 a.m. Monday morning.
Well, from Craftsman tools to Kenmore appliances to back-to-school basics for millions of school kids, Sears was the American department store for generations of American families. Now the retail giant says it can't borrow enough money to keep its doors open. The chain owns Sears and Kmart and has struggled for years with fading sales. Last year, the group, which operates more than 1,400 stores, lost more than $2 billion. Sears hasn't made a profit since 2011.
One person is dead after a crash in Pontotoc County. 54-year-old Tulsa resident Elizabeth Kelly was killed last night a few miles west of Allen. The report says Kelly lost control of her vehicle on a curve because she was driving at an unsafe speed. Officials also believe Kelly was not wearing her seatbelt.
And still head on OU Nightly, the USA baseball team is showing everyone in the world why baseball is America's game.
Plus, Sawyer Wells is here with a live look outside the beautiful Bizzell Library.
Yeah, clouds have moved in, but sunny weather will return. I'll have your forecast right after this. We have that live shot near Bizzell Memorial Library, and those clouds have moved in over the past hour or so, and those will start to move out overnight. We're going to get tomorrow again, get up into the 80s around the area. So right now, though, 68 degrees outside, those winds out of the east-southeast, those will be shifting to the south. And it will be gusty tomorrow, too. We'll talk about that in just a second. And that dew point right around 57. So current temps outside right now, we've got 70 in Norman, 63 up in Tulsa. And so overall around the region, we're above normal. And it's kind of nice. We really, winter just kind of passed us on by. And so we're moving on into spring just like that. And there we go. So lows tonight will be in the upper 50s, upper 40s out in the Panhandle. Right around normal for the Panhandle, above normal again for us, and we're going to stay like that, like I said, for the next several days. And then highs tomorrow, lower 80s, especially in the southwestern part of the state and the west, and then northeast Oklahoma, Green Country, we're looking at upper 70s, still, like I said, several times above normal. So we talked about those systems earlier, and now I'm going to let you know. So we have that low pressure system that's going to be just northeast of Denver, and a cold front that runs back on down through New Mexico. And we're right around Thursday at 5 p.m. We should have like a little squall line form off into the Panhandle of Oklahoma and Texas. Now the weird thing is this model has it dissipating as it goes over Norman and then kind of reappearing into eastern Oklahoma. And so I don't necessarily agree with that model. We should be getting some sort of rain, but then it's going to intensify into eastern Oklahoma. And then once this system moves out, this model doesn't go out quite that far. We can have a little moisture wrapped around behind it, bring us another chance of rain into Sunday, and then we have another chance into Monday. So overall, for this first time, the rain amounts we're looking at right around a tenth of an inch, potentially here in Norman. And then for our 7-day, 80 degrees tomorrow, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies. We have that 40% chance of showers. Now notice the winds out of the south, 15 to 25 miles per hour. They're going to be gusting at times up to 35. So bad hair day all around. Then Saturday, we cool back down again as the first cold front moves through. Northwest winds, again, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Will be in the lows right around north for this time of year, which is right around 46 or so. And then Sunday, we begin to heat back up, 77 degrees, 40% chance of mainly in the afternoon. We'll get a break in the evening, and then early in the morning on Monday, we have another chance. So all around, we're looking to get some rain. Spring is here, and we'll be above normal and have that rain come in. So that's really nice for all the crops, too, especially starting to grow this time of year.
Yeah, I love how they started to plant the roses out in the red flowers.
The beauty of OU.
The beauty of OU. I don't like the wind though.
Yeah, that wind's going to be horrible.
Some of
for
us
the
don't
next
have
days.
hair like you do. It doesn't get messed up.
That's true. That's true.
Well, thanks, Sawyer.
Well, Blakely Durham is here with a look ahead to sports. Blakely?
Thanks, Reagan. Spring football has officially begun, and we finally get to hear from quarterback Baker Mayfield about his recent arrest in Fayetteville. We'll tell you what he said coming up next. OU football kicked off spring practice yesterday, and after practice, OU quarterback Baker Mayfield had a chance to address the media publicly about his recent arrest in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Wish I could have changed it right after. I really wish I could have done something different and not put myself in that position, but it was an instant regret in realizing what I did. So yeah, that's how I feel. I had to battle a lot of things, whether it's family stuff, anything like that. But I mean, this is by far the biggest one for me, just because it's publicized a lot more, and I understand it. It's like I said, I signed up to play quarterback here, and that's why I came here. So I know what comes with the territory, but this is the biggest thing for me. And right now it's mental for me to get over it and move on, because if I don't do that, then nobody will.
Two OU softball players won some big awards this week. Sophomore Sydney Romero was named Conference Player of the Week, and rightly so after hitting all 3 of her home runs this season. Last week, freshman Mariah Lopez picked up her first honor ever, earning Big 12 Pitcher of the Week. She is coming off her first career no-hitter. The Sooners are back in action at home this weekend in the College Preview Tournament. The OU men's golf team had one of the best weekends in program history, winning the Lone Star Invitational. Senior Max McGreevy had an incredible weekend, scoring in the 60s in all 3 rounds. He is the first Sooner to do that since 2011. McGreevy won the individual competition, finishing with a 196 total. The team will look to carry this momentum into the 3M Augusta Invitational on April 1st. The OKC Thunder are back in action tonight at the Peak, taking on the 76ers. Team is coming off a tough loss and a heated game against Golden State on Monday. The 76ers are still without star Joel Embiid, and as he will likely undergo knee surgery. Tip-off tonight is 7 p.m. The USA baseball team made history last night, beating Japan 2-1 to make their way into the championship game of the World Baseball Classic. The undefeated Japanese had scored 46 runs in their previous 6 games, but against the U.S. in the semifinals, they only scored 1 run. Crazy. The U.S. will take on Puerto Rico in the finals tonight. And it's my favorite day of the week, Wine Wednesday, and we've got a repeat whiner for you guys today. That's right. For the first time ever, we have a whiner who wins again, Mr. LeVar Ball. He just can't keep his mouth shut, can he? This guy has officially taken things too far, in my opinion. He has now come out and said his sons will have more success than LeBron James's kids. Bringing another man's kids into the mix, I mean, what did LeBron James's kids do to deserve that? James was appalled by Ball's comments, and I agree. The media will continue to stick a mic in front of this guy's mouth as long as he'll keep running it, but I am officially done listening. Scott Van Pelt said it best, it's not interesting anymore, it's just insufferable, and I'm done paying attention to him. If he's not going to let his sons have his own success, then he can just sit back and drink this bottle of wine, and I won't be listening.
He is a real piece of work.
He is,
that's
and
kind
he
of,
won't
I think that's an
stop.
understatement.
Crazy.
Thanks, Blakely. Still coming to OU Nightly, a little girl had quite the meet and greet with the Pope today. Stay tuned.
We don't need no education.
I'm Allyson Stewart at the OU Nightly Update Desk. This morning in southeast Oklahoma City, a woman was shot in the neck. The woman was seen arguing with a man in an on-cue shortly before the same man shot her at the car wash across the street. The Oklahoma Senate approved Bill 549, which would extend state employees' pregnancy and adoption leave allowance past the federal 12-week minimum. The bill was previously rejected on March 15th, but the Senate had a change of heart. That's it for now. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Allyson. Talk about memorable. A 3-year-old American girl's visit to Rome is going viral, all thanks to her causing a bit of a stir with Pope Francis today. As the Pope went to kiss her on the cheek, the toddler proceeded to take his skull cap. Luckily, the Pope, his aides, and the little girl's family all had a great sense of humor about it. That is a great, I love that. She's never going to be able to live that video
Not
down.
everyone can say that they can take off the Pope's hat and got away with it.
No, they can't. Speaking of the hats, do you think the wind is going to be taking people's hats?
Not
here
tonight.
anytime soon?
Tonight's looking like we're going to get a little bit of a break. Those winds 5-10 miles per hour. It's going to cool down a little bit into lower 60s and upper 50s, and then by tomorrow those winds do return.
Awesome.
Thanks for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by Gaylord College at the University of Oklahoma.
We'll see you back here tomorrow night live at 4:30.
Have a great evening.
Good night.